Hi, this is Angela, and I've had a break from YouTube for a few weeks, which has been wonderful. And I wanted to share some exciting events coming up over the next few weeks, physically in Australia and New Zealand, but they're also available online. So that's why I'm excited to share it with the global audience as well. In these times when we're literally in the change period from really old ways of doing things into new ways of doing things. So I wanted to share how this has been experienced by me and my secret about going with the flow of life, which is something with my dance I've been obsessed about since a young child who started out dancing in my big Italian mansion my parents had. And I used to dance up and down the stairs and sing to ABBA. And from that time, I wanted to have a life where I could flow and dance with life. But, as we all grow older, we have to get real and get a job and become normal, right? No, I insisted on trying to keep that experience of being able to dance with life. That's why my business is called Dance with Angela, because it's not just about dance, it's about dancing through life or dancing with life, flowing with life. And our world right now is at this point where there's a lot of suffering that's very visible to us. You don't need to watch the news, you can feel it, that the world is in a state of change and a state of chaos and a state of extraordinary suffering in some circumstances. So I wanted to share this secret about what I discovered in my life when I was moving from and dancing as a child and wanting to be a dancer for all of my life and working with dance, I've discovered along that path that the secret is really not about what I think I should make my life, but how I experience myself. So it didn't matter whether it was my dance business or whether it was my relationships, whether it was my finances, or in this case, I'm going to share today some miracles around health that I've learned this specific lesson that is a global, all of us are going through it right now. We're all changing our perception about what reality is. It's unmistakable that something's going on in our world right now that is challenging the way we think the world should be. But I've experienced this at a personal level, and I wanted to share my secret, which obviously is about the Soma events, one of the ways that I access this secret. And it's really understanding that my perception about how life should be, how reality should be, is not that important. In fact, it's really ridiculous. And in the description, I had an experience with the book, the Adams series book about life, the universe, and everything. And if you've watched that series or read the books, you know that there's a giant computer that says the answer is 42. And it's sort of a parody about how we all go through life and we think we need the answer. We need to know how to do our life. We need to grow up and become a thing. We need to get a job and earn a certain amount of money. And that's the metaphor in the whole series, is that you somehow need to know what the answer is in life in order to get something. So the book makes a parody that the answer is actually 42. And if you know any people that have read the books, what happens is that phenomenon that everybody starts to think, yeah, it's 42. So you start to see the number 42 in your life. And what happened for me in my life was that through health, uh, catastrophes, which some of you may know who know me personally, that started well before 2019, but that was the biggest one. I had a big cancer scare, which almost took my life. And then I had a second disease in 2022, Guillain-Barré syndrome. And after both diseases, my body did not work. My brain was not the same. And I had to reconstruct my body. I had to reconstruct, who is this Angela now? And I couldn't do it. Like, I could not, after the cancer, actually move my body. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. because my brain wasn't working. And by miracles, and we can name the people, but I'm not going to name them here, I had angels, human beings, physical angels, come in and help me when I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat, I couldn't talk. I had them around me. And that was some of the miracles. And I'm going to share in a series of videos about the miracles, which is really about changing our perception of how reality is or should be. So if you've grown up like me, where you think, I'm going to grow up and become a person, a thing, and I'm going to grow up and have a life partner. I'm going to grow up and have children. I don't have children. I've got a life partner, but I haven't grown up and I haven't become a thing. I'm Angela. And that was the biggest thing I learned after my cancer. And then after the second disease, when I almost died in 2019, I got a second disease where again, I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't see, and I could eat slightly. I'm Italian, so I tried. I've got to eat, and but I had to relearn how to do the body again a second time. And those two diseases weren't the first time my body was debilitated in my life. So I had experienced not being able to walk before, but the cancer was a big one that I had to really learn how to do this body again. And so some of the miracles I got are from this secret, which is soma. And the soma is a phenomenon that comes from India, but it's global. And in each country, and this is important because it's about our perception about reality, in each country, the soma manifests differently. So in India, they have soma that's comes in different forms, like mystical honey, and it comes out of a pitcher, which outside of India to us is like, what? What's that? And that reminds me of, I'll go back to the book series of Life, the Universe, and Everything. When Arthur Dent goes in his pajamas out into the universe and starts to experience different worlds, every sort of weird idea that Arthur has or perception of reality is confronted and made fun of. He's not made an idiot of, but we get to see that some of Arthur's perceptions are kind of cute and funny, but limited. And that's all they are. And soma, what it starts to do as it manifests in, I know thousands of people that get soma in their homes, they go to temples and get it in India, or different temples outside of India, or different people's homes where it manifests. It's different. It's unique. It's something outside of our logical thinking. And as a child who thought I should grow up and be something, to actually have it recognized now as an adult that I don't have to be anything, I can just be me. It's really changing my perception about how life should be. Yes, we have to get a job and pay bills and be part of a society and act functionally and live functionally. But in the health example, I'm going to go into other examples in this series on miracles and going with the flow of life. But in the health example, when I had the cancer and I couldn't move, I was flat on my back and I had to learn, what do I do now? I could freak out, but because I had blood clots and one's very close to my heart, freaking out could have killed me. So very quickly, my sense of, better be getting a different strategy towards freaking out. What could I do? I had to pull on my resources, and I had to, in my circumstance, I've learnt to pray, which is a large part of soma. With soma, it manifests differently in each person's situation. And if you want to do the soma event, I've got the links, or contact me and I can get you the links. We have them in Australia and they are online this Sunday, October 20th, and also November 3rd in Sydney. So with the soma, you have to pray, which is not a supplication. It's literally just visualizing or imagining a solution. So flat on my back in a hospital bed, my solution was somebody to help in a way that I couldn't use my brain in that situation very well. So someone to help me now. Sometimes it was a bedpan because I was busting. Sometimes it was other parts of my body that, fluids were moving out of my body rapidly. and I couldn't stop the things that were coming and happening in my body. So I needed a nurse. And if you've gone to hospital, you know nurses usually have anywhere from up to 4 to 10 patients they're working with. So they're not always there when you need them. So I would often in the hospital use that prayer piece that I use now with the soma to visualize help now. Very limited function I had, so help now. And lo and behold, a nurse would come or a doctor would arrive and they would absolutely help me. In my cancer, I had problems, like it was a lot of extraordinary problems all the time. And the medical staff were often quite in a panic mode around me every couple of days. Sometimes within the day, there was sort of panic stations throughout the day. But because of the prayer power, I was able to think help and ask for it from a source outside of my current consciousness, which wasn't working. And consistently it was 10 weeks, that hospital stay, and it was 4 hospitals. No, I've got to remember because I was out of it a lot. So it was 2 hospitals, but I moved beds so many times because I went to different wards. And so it felt like different hospitals. And I was in ICU as well twice. So that's why my memory's remembering different hospitals. So each time, different environment, different circumstances, I had to use that prayer focus to focus on help or this problem now, I need to have another solution and another solution and another solution. And I kept focusing on that. And what I learned from that hospital visit was that each time I had a limited perception, my physical body started going down. So I got to experience when I had negative thoughts, my heart rate would change. Hi, Maya. It's good to see you here. So I could see my limited perceptions change my heart rate. I could see my limited perceptions change if blood was, I was losing blood through my body because of the surgery that I had to take out the cancer, and my body wasn't healing because of the cancer. I was in a catch-22 where I still had cancer cells, so my body couldn't heal and I was losing enormous amounts of blood. So I could see when I went into panic that there was no way that the solution was going to get solved. And the only solution, because I couldn't move or function very well, was to use my prayer power to focus on a positive outcome. And I also got support from these humans that came and taught me how to focus on the positive outcome, because when your body's sick, you don't know how to focus. You don't know how to be positive. You're in a panic station. That's the nervous system going into panic. So this was the other thing that happened when I started working with Soma, which came after I got out of hospital. I started to get Soma through our prayer process that we do with the teachers, avatars in India, Amma Bhagavan. They started to teach us how to focus with prayer to then start manifesting the Soma in our homes. And now in these events, collectively, what we're learning is that when there's more of us focusing on a higher outcome, a solution-focused outcome, not the ones that we think we should have, but say, for example, in these events in Australia, we're praying for climate outcomes that we need. In Perth, we prayed for rain, but not floods. And there was a lot of lack of rain in Perth before that prayer, and subsequently after the event, because we collectively focused on rain, and it was for the highest outcome of that region of the country, we got 2 weeks of consecutive rain, which hadn't happened for months. And we've seen from the floods and everything that's happening now globally, there's too much rain. We've seen with the hurricane recently that it was expected to be worse, but a lot of people started to pray together. And I got a report from someone in the US that the hurricane came in and the storm surge came in. It was supposed to be 15 to 20 feet. It was actually 12 feet. And weirdly, this hurricane that was supposed to move across Florida then and Tampa, where it hit, went out to the ocean. So this is where we're starting to see this. There's a lot of the collective that believes prayer can actually change things. What? But this goes back to our perception of reality and how we think things should be. And in that shoulding on each other, what we do is we punish each other. When we think the world should do this, our lives should be that way. My brother should do this to me. My sister should behave that way. My mother should have told me she loved me. My father should not have done that to me. We do that in our thinking all the time unconsciously. We're not doing it because we're bad people. But I was doing it with my cancer. And gosh, I can't tell you the amounts of awakenings I got when I wasn't functioning that well on a lot of drugs. When I'd have a negative thought, I'd see the actual blood get worse in terms of how it was operating. My body had edema, it was swelling. I would see edema happen in front of my eyes, and then my negative mind got worse because my feet started swelling once right in front of my eyes, and it was really scary. And then I started to see how that negative part of ourselves manifests things even in a worse sense. So Maya is sharing that prayers are just conscious positive thoughts sent to the universe. And she's wishing people to experience that. And so to experience it, what I'm also learning from my own cancer journey of 10 weeks, and then after I got out of hospital, I had to reconstruct myself, is that after the hospital, then my rehab, I had more problems because I was using my body as if I was normal and it wasn't. And I was doing some rehab exercises and I'm like pulling my shoulder in a bad posture and I got an injury. And then I spent the next 3 years rehabilitating from that injury. And it made me realize, oh, so I'm pushing my body, but it's not that body. I'm thinking my body is a different body. And if I just allow my body to show me how to move, instead of making it move from my thoughts of, oh, you should be this way, maybe my body will respond better and actually flow with life or flow with me into this new body. So everything, even in my rehab from the various illnesses, has shown me that flowing with life is actually a whole new way of being that humanity, well, our modern civilization doesn't encourage it. We want to be these things. We think we should be this way. We think our world should be that way. And why we're experiencing chaos right now is what happened to me physically in my body in hospital. I had to become such a junkyard and such a problem body after the cancer that I couldn't function and people had to take care of me. And I also was very blessed because I had prayers and I had a way of asking for help when I couldn't do it. I was helpless in a way, but also I'd given up trying to make myself something, and my mind had sort of realized, oh, if you think you should be functional, maybe that's not very useful at this stage. And that's a pretty rubbish idea anyway. Why did I think I had to be something that I'm not? Why couldn't I just be Angela? Isn't that enough? Yeah, that's enough. And I started to experience from that I am enough state, a lot of synchronicities and miracles started just happening. People around me started to be more relaxed. People around me started to be more honest and authentic. And that's now what I'm doing in my dance classes. I do a very improvised way of teaching the classes. Sometimes it's really interesting to see who arrives in the class because the class starts to become a place for organic creation and flow and for life to start revealing itself. I'm going to share some more things next video about the medical system because I think where I discovered in the health journey I had that the medical practitioners also have this connection to the universe of extraordinary answers. They get downloads. And because my situation was pretty bad, I saw the doctors get those downloads. So I'll leave that for the next video. And what I want to finish with now is just understanding that if you're looking for the flow of life instead of chaos, what is it in your prayers that you could be saying, I want my prayers to be X? Like you're telling the universe, it has to be this. Certainly in my case, I just asked for help and help came consistently. I've got another story for another video about when it turned out really weird, like the anti-help. It didn't turn out well, and I'm going to save that for a different topic about when dark things come. We send out our prayers or ask for help, and then something negative comes, and how to deal with that. But if you have a prayer outcome and you're putting it like, I want it this way, the universe is going to show you when we have it this way, perhaps there is something bigger out there for you. Because when I was asking, things came in so much help came. It was actually overwhelming how much help came to me, and it came in so many different ways that I never thought could happen. And that's what the Soma events are doing. Now that I've been doing the live Soma events and I've done online Soma events as well, what's happened is it's changing the way I perceive miracles, and it's changing the way I perceive everything, the universe. It's in the book, Douglas Adams says, life, the universe, and everything is 42. So, Angela, I had my version of 42. And I'm getting challenged like Arthur Dent in the Douglas Adams books to go, oh, it's really not 42, is it? It's actually multidimensional and much more expansive, and actually it's more fun, and it's actually more interesting, and it's manifold. There's more and more and more. That's what's happening because I've done, I think, 10 Soma events now, online and in person. And I've got the same prayer, but I'm seeing the multidimensional facets of the prayer come out. And my health journey was like that. So many people came, and so many good and some negative experiences happened, but they were all part of this larger miracle, which is helping me shift from this old way of seeing my life or life and the universe and everything to this new way of seeing life, the universe, and everything, which is like really extraordinary. So I'll leave it there. Reach out to me if you want a link for the Soma events, because I know on Instagram the links aren't there, and Facebook and YouTube don't have all of the links there. You can direct message me or contact me, Angela at Dance with Angela. And I look forward to this new series on miracles and the flow of life. And thanks, Maya. I'll send you the link here on Facebook, I think, and I'll be sharing more about this secret because I feel like it's my version and your version is your own secret, basically. And we're going to be sharing these summer events, hopefully more online. Definitely, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, we want to get you to experience it because our countries need more miracles. And I hope to share more with you soon. So that's it for now, and talk to you next time.